So we're talking about what to do when somebody just hides in a turtle type defense here. So I'm going to have my arm over his back. I'm going to have my foot out for pushing, actually. My knee is even with his knee. It's not behind his knee. It's not in front of his knee. It's next to his knee. Bulk of bone next to bulk of bone. My arm's draped over his belt so he doesn't roll away from me or do anything crazy. And I can actually make him carry my weight here a little bit, right? So what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to use my hips to push his hips, like this, yeah. And when his hips get moved, all of his weight goes to the far knee, and I'll be able to maybe move this knee a little bit. This is one of the dilemmas I want to make him deal with. One of the openings I want to take advantage of. I'm going to push with my hips and keep your balance. You know, it's fine to keep your balance. When I push with my hips, that far knee is going to get heavy, and I should be able to invade his space a little bit with this knee. Now I'm going to turn to face him. I'm going to get two hooks, one on his wing, one at his, right at his lat, the armpit, the other at his hips. And I'm going to back away. Think of backing away like 10 feet from your person. I need to back way away because he needs to roll over a Greg's width. So I need to get out of the way here and pull him over. And as soon as he hits the ground, a lot of people go back to turtle. So I'd like to create a grip under his tricep, just like this. It's a thumbless grip just under his tricep so that he can't turn back over. His arm is just stuck. And it doesn't take a lot of my strength or anything. That's a good way to keep him from rolling back over. So again, that move is, I was here. I bump him in the hips with my hips. It's not my ribs pushing his ribs, upper body stuff. It's middle body stuff. I'm pushing his hips with my hips, and I'm going to steal space with my knee. So when I bump, the far knee gets heavy because that's him catching himself. And then the near one, a lot of times you can move it a little bit. Now I'm going to create my two hooks, one at his wing, one at his hips. And I do want him to sort of pole vault his body over this pole. So I am going to leave this here long enough to tip him. But when I see he's going, I'm going to get out of the way. And the first thing I'm looking for is to underhook this elbow right here. So that if he tries to roll back, he just can't. The second problem for him that I'm going to try to create or take advantage of is a space right here. If there's a space here, then I'm going to be able to put my foot in. This is the beginning of taking my opponent's back, which I can do here. But let's look at the second mistake, which is just this hole. So this hole might happen when somebody's trying to get their base if, they start catching themselves using their elbows also. So if I start moving around and his arms move too for any reason, yeah, this hole appears, okay? If this hole, vice versa, if this hole appears and he sees me trying to do this, he might close up real tight. And when he closes up real tight, it might be a really good time to move him, only because sometimes we sacrifice our base to close down space, okay? So I love it anytime like one, mistake or problem sets up another one. So let's look at the back take. The back take is going to be when I take this foot over here, there is a hole. I take the foot over there and I put it in. I'm going to put the center of my chest on the center of his back, and I'm going to wrap my arms. If it's my right foot that's in, it's my right arm over the shoulder. I connect my hands and I hug, and I'm trying to not just fall off of him sideways, trying to make his shoulder land in front of his elbow. So I'm here, and I'm going to try and fall so that his shoulder falls in front of his elbow, and then it's a nice easy roll. I'll put my second hook in, and now I'm on the back. If there's a hole, I put this foot in across my own body. Chest to back, center of my chest, center of his back. I get a good hug going, but I don't just fall off because he might be able to stick his elbow out and catch us if I fall this way. I make his shoulder fall in front of his elbow by putting my weight on his shoulder and crushing it down just by sort of falling the correct direction. So I just want you guys to think about the person's shoulder, because they could base over here, their shoulder doing this, and then the rest will follow very easily. There being 3 problems or mistakes for him means that there probably is usually one open. And if one is closed, I should look for the other 2, because probably one of those is open, or maybe with a little bit of effort I can make one of them open. The third problem or mistake that I want to take advantage of is is a space here. So he's not protecting his neck, and we're going to take advantage of that with a submission. So if he, let's say, fills this space entirely with his elbows, he really hides that space. So there is no space for my foot. It's possible that there's now an attack open to me at the neck. So what I'm going to do here is use my hand across his back to flip open his collar. That's basically always what I do when I grab the collar. And I'm going to get a grip. So if you sit up, I'm getting this grip here. This doesn't have to be a super deep grip. Matter of fact, my thumb at his collarbone, here's his collarbone I can feel, is perfect. So he's down. I get this grip. I'm going to put the other elbow on the floor. And I'm going to be, there is a wrist movement as well. I'm also going to be jutting my wrist bone upwards. And this helps with the choke as well. So I'm not under his arm in any way. I'm over the shoulder here. This one comes to the floor. I'm jutting upwards with this. And that's pretty effective already. But when I put, however many pounds I weigh on top of the back of his neck through my ribs, we get like a very, very solid choke. This choke is effective against any size person. It shows the vulnerability of the neck. Maybe base isn't a problem. He's got wide knees. He's keeping them wide. That's no problem for him. And despite that they're wide, I can't get this foot in either. Maybe that means that the neck is open among our dilemmas here. So I'm going to open this collar up, put my hand in, my elbow on the ground, and I'm trying to stay under his chin while sort of doing this casting motion. I call it a casting motion, like I'm casting a fishing line. Here I stay under his chin, and then when I slide through here, I'm going up, and it helps to walk around. This is where it gets the name clock choke, is that I'm walking around him like the hands of a clock. It's not on his back, but on the back of his neck. How's it tap? Oh, yeah. That's amazing. So it might be hard to tap. Yeah. All right. Let me compose myself.
No, I should have
Yeah, no, that's right.